Hi, I'm Marty Nemko. This is a short story called Silent Night. It's 4:43 p.m. Normally, he'd still be badgering delinquent borrowers for another hour or two, but today, he couldn't make himself. After all, it was Christmas Eve. Even at femloan.org, which expected long work hours for the cause, microloans to women, no one would look askance at him today. So, he craned his body out of his chair and was about to leave his office when his boss entered and asked if she could sit down. She rarely came in, usually communicating by email. He thought, maybe it's to hand-deliver the usual year-end gift card to Ben & Jerry's Seeds of Change or some such. But her face was too serious. Her usual workplace pleasant demeanor was replaced by flatness. I don't know how to say this, but I'm laying you off. He couldn't bring himself to say anything. She waited, then murmured, I'm so sorry. After all these years here, and especially as an older worker, I know this must be hard. You'll get severance plus 2 weeks more pay whether you leave today or in 2 weeks. Your choice. And she crept out. He trudged towards Bart, vacant, then looked up at the swaddling skyscrapers, buildings he had rarely noticed or had viewed as monolith symbols of financial America. Now those buildings felt like symbols that he had been part of something big. He appeased his liberal values with the belief that femloan.org was one of the few good guys, or should I say, good gals. On Bart, he noticed that he was the oldest passenger on his car. I'm old. Face it, I'm old. Oh, what right do I have to keep working when millions of young people can't find work beyond as a barista? Good socialist, it's time for me to walk my redistributionist talk. Trying to savor his last walk from Bart to home, he looked a bit longer at the leaves. Californians fly back east for autumn color, yet just a month later we too have yellows and reds. Look at that liquid amber. That's a great name. That Japanese maple, that ginkgo, the world's oldest tree. And it's as yellow as if hybridizers spent decades creating it. Then thoughts about his work life intruded. I was maybe 8 when Dad said, "Work, that's what matters, work." Odd, I remember that. Then my first job. I came right in at 9, and I was shocked that people were reading their newspapers. 9:15, 9:30, they still hadn't started. My first job out of college was managing volunteers. I thought being a boss meant I was supposed to boss a job training. It was about liberal arts. Then there was the time I told my boss that I liked New Yorkers because they're straight shooters. Tactful Midwest, and I soon got laid off. I wonder how much that statement contributed. Then I volunteered at Femloan. It took months, but finally got hired, quote, even though you're a guy. Somehow that statement didn't bother me. I had drunk the Kool-Aid. That was, 23 years ago. Little by little, I lost some of the passion, maybe a lot. Maybe getting dumped is for the best. As usual, he passed the donut shop, but this time he turned around, went in, and asked for a cinnamon roll. The clerk said, they were made at 4 a.m., they're a little stale. And he said, it's okay, I'll take it anyway. When he got home, he made himself his usual green tea in a Japanese pot. He sprinkled a little water on the cinnamon roll, put it in the microwave, and it came out as moist as if it were fresh. He settled in his easy chair and savored that rare treat, cutting the sweetness with the tea. Now what? Retire? Volunteer for another nonprofit? Maybe it's just that I've spent 2 decades phoning borrowers who tell me that they can't pay back their loan. Anybody'd be burned out after that. Or do I do the standard retiree thing? Sleep late, movies, TV, grandkids, doctor's appointments, read. I have this pile of books on my bed where a woman should be. But I don't really care to have a girlfriend. And yet I can't make myself read the books either. Should I write my memoir? That feels narcissistic. Get into shape? I'm just not motivated. And he took a bigger bite of the cinnamon roll. I'll think about this some other time.